Bum bum ba bum bum ba bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum 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 ba-da-ba-bum. Well, greetings and welcome back to Big Bacon's Bunker. I'm the bunker. That's Big Bacon. Wait, scratch, reverse, flip. I'm Big Bacon. That's the bunker. Y'all sat through the absolute bottom of the barrel for the Star Wars Black Series. So now I'm pleased to announce that today we're doing the top 10 Star Wars Black Series that I reviewed in 2023. And yeah, there are a couple of honorable mentions as well. Figures that were that that close to making the top 10. But for one reason or another, they just didn't. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So, as I mentioned, there are 3 honorable mentions this year. First off, we have the credit collection Boba Fett from The Mandalorian. This is his Tatooine wandering Tusken cast-off outfit. And the thing about the credit collection is the coloration is not what the original color is. So for this one, instead of the black robes, the black pants, the black boots, they did this in brown. But what they also did was they changed up the paint on the face and took away that really nasty, ugly paint that they did for the scarring. And that was vital. Because his face looks so much better than the mainline release, I opted to get this one, even though the entire outfit is miscolored. And that's why he's on the honorable mentions list. The next figure up on the honorable mentions list is Jaxxon. Yes, this is not from live action media. This is one of the publishing series figures. As far as I know, he's never appeared in any movie, television show, cartoon, any of it. But the look of this figure is so epic and fun. He had to make it somewhere on the list. Even if not on the main list itself, at least as an honorable mention. Yeah, there's a lot of reuse in the body, but with the new overlays and the way they painted it, it looks fun. And that's what toys should be. They should be fun. So, Jaxxon is on the honorable mentions list. Our third and final honorable mention, the Bad Batch Season 2, Wrecker and Mercenary Gear. Now, Wrecker is here for much the same reason that Jaxxon is. Wrecker is fun. A lot of this is reused from the original Season 1 figure, but they've changed enough to make it new. They've added the holster, they've completely redone the torso portion. The paint is much more vibrant, more colorful. It's just, this, as well as Jaxxon, is just a fun figure. So, Wrecker's going to round out our honorable mentions. So, coming in at the number 10 spot, and I'm sure I'm going to get flack for this, but I'll explain myself here in a moment. In the number 10 spot, we have from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus, Reva. A lot of people did not like this character, myself included. But, first off, you can't blame the actress for that. It's not that the part was badly acted, it was badly written. The character was badly written. She actually acted the part quite well. But even if you just disregard the show, this figure is amazing. The face sculpt, the face paint are perfect. Proportions on the body fit the character perfectly. Articulation is great. Accessories, I mean, I don't know how many other figures I've seen that come with 3 lightsabers. None. So, for that reason, Reva is number 10 on my top 10 list. Number 9 on my top 10 list this year is the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi Gamorrean Guard. How can you have a channel called Big Bacon's Bunker and not have Big Bacon in your top 10? This figure is it's amazingly detailed. The soft goods work. The accessories allow you to kind of diversify if you decide to buy multiples. It is just an all-around great figure. So the Gamorrean Guard has more than earned his place in the number 9 spot. In the number 8 spot, we have the Ahsoka Ezra Bridger Lothal, which is really the Rebels Season 4 Ezra Bridger. And that is why he's on my list. When they do animated series figures, they give them a more realistic, lifelike look. So, keeping that in mind, this is very much what the animated Season 4 Ezra would have looked like, regardless of who the actor is. Now, as I said, we don't really see the whole face of the actor in the show. So, lining it up perfectly, and yeah, I have not researched with base photos of the actor. I haven't. But this does look like Ezra Bridger. It's colored perfectly. Nice articulation. Accessories are accurate and on point. So, Ezra, number 8 on my top 10 list. In the number 7 spot, we have the Republic Commando Scorch. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of the Republic Commando complaints I had were the same everybody had. They're not bulky enough. They're too small. They don't have adequate, accurate accessories. With Scorch, first off, Scorch was fire in the game to begin with. But the figure, they actually gave the accessories they needed to make it look more like Scorch. And I love that. The paint is about as accurate as you're going to get with that Gaming Greats line. So, this is why Scorch is sitting at number 7 on my top 10 list. Sitting pretty at the number 6 spot, we have Count Dooku. Okay, I am a stickler for likenesses. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the greatest, one of the greatest likenesses the Star Wars team has done. This is a dead ringer for Christopher Lee. Honestly is. On top of that, I'm not usually a huge fan of soft goods, but the cape they gave him works. It fits well, it drapes nicely. His lightsaber, perfectly detailed. And he even was the first to come with the, what's the word I want to use? The motion blade accessory, which was a great touch. And I really wish they'd add that to more Jedi Sith characters, because, you know, being able to set them up as though they're actually fighting each other, that's a great thing to do. So, Count Dooku, number 6. And how can you have Count Dooku on your list and not have Qui-Gon Jinn? That's right, number 5 position. This is the carded anniversary version of Qui-Gon Jinn. So what does that mean? I don't remember if the red box came with a cloak or not. This one definitely didn't, and he also didn't come with that Force hand. What he did come with was improved paint apps and that digital face print. So you're trading a much cleaner look for a couple of extra accessories. And in this case, it worked for me. Liam Neeson is on my shelf. That's right, I've taken Liam Neeson and put him on my shelf. He doesn't have to find me. He knows where I live. So, Qui-Gon Jinn, number 5 on my top 10 of 2023. In the number 4 position, we have Clone Wars Season 7 Darth Maul, a figure that topped a lot of people's lists last year. I did not actually manage to get him and review him until this year, so he made this year's lineup. The robotic legs they gave him are amazing. The improved articulation they gave him. I mean, you can actually put his legs together, unlike the Phantom Menace Darth Maul. The paint is amazing. His mismatched double-bladed lightsaber works perfectly well. All in all, this is an example of a perfect rendition of a character translated to plastic. But still not quite as good as the few above him. And that's why Darth Maul is sitting at number 4. And at number 3, we have the Book of Boba Fett. And this one pisses me off because this should be my number 1 figure. And unfortunately, they did that nasty painted scarring on his face, which really knocked him down a peg. And then, look, I always say don't let bad media ruin a good figure, but this one was a difficult one to follow that rule because the pussification of his character in his own show just really got to me. So for that reason and that reason alone, Boba Fett is sitting in the number 3 position. Coming in number 2 this year, and honestly, up until about 30 seconds ago, this was my number 1. Him and the number 1, I've been arguing back and forth with myself about which one really made me want that number 1 position most for. And the other one just edged Rex out by a tiny amount. This is the Bad Batch version, not the Red Box version. So, for that reason, he doesn't have the pauldron. And if I were to turn him around, you would see the goggles just kind of folded behind his helmet. His the binoculars that are built on are kind of hidden behind him. So, I mean, if this had been the actual look of Rex as we knew him throughout the entire lifespan, he would have been number 1, no question. But still, an amazing figure, great likeness. The weathering, the sculpt, the paint, everything on this is just amazing. It's those few missing details. And I get that you have to get a cheap soft goods cloak over him. It wasn't worth it. This one would have been so much better if you'd just re-released the original. But that's why Rex is only sitting at number 2 and not topping this list this year. So, before we get to the number 1 spot, I got to ask you, who do you think it is? Who do you think I reviewed this year that just blew everything else away? At least in my eyes. So, down there's a little comment section. You feel free to put down whatever you think about my list. If you think somebody shouldn't have made it, if you saw me review somebody who didn't make it, let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. So, I imagine that y'all are ready for the number 1 position. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Topping my top 10 list of Star Wars Black Series this year, we have none other than the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Final Duel Darth Vader. Okay, the base body is not the greatest Vader they've given us. This is the Empire Strikes Back body was the best, with the butterfly joint. But this one, the modifications they made to it, the damaged chest box. If you look, you can see fraying at the bottom of his cape, the cut through the back of the cape and the undercloak into the back of the figure, and then the open helmet. That damaged helmet with the Hayden Christensen likeness Vader inside is just it's a beautiful thing, man. So yes, that is exactly why this figure just edged out Captain Rex as my top figure for 2023. So I want to thank you all for coming and spending a few minutes with me, hearing what I have to say about who I thought was great this year. You know who I actually think is great? You guys. The people who spend their time listening to what I have to say, because honestly, y'all had a choice. You could have spent your time doing anything else, and for some reason, you spent it here with me. So for that, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Until next year. Big Bacon. Yum.